Okay. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते जयतम सुरतौ पंगुर ममा मंदा मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पादं भोजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्यात् बृन्दारण्यो कल्पद्रुमदाः श्रीमत् रत्नाकरा सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमत् राधा श्रीलगोविन्द देवौ प्रस्थालीभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमन् रासारसारम्भी वंशिवातस्ततस्थितः कर्षन् वेणोर्स्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तुनः तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नस्तप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवतीर्नैष्टिकी. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्रावसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसं मालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावकः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रिये तायि मे आनंद विषया मतिर्मधुपति आसकृत रतिम उद्वहता तदा गंगे बहुगम मुदन्वतिः. O Lord of sweetness, Madhupate, as the Ganga forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विघ्न विनाश नरसिंह इति नामिने मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयितुं गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ओम तत्सत्. So Hare Krishna everybody, welcome back to Srimad Bhagavatam session. Right, so we are covering chapter 14 currently, the disappearance of Lord Krishna. So this chapter, actually, the next 3 chapters will be all about the disappearance of Lord Krishna. So this is just the beginning, where we hear the conversation of what Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking. That is going to go on in this chapter. And we will also hear in the next chapter, chapter 15, what Arjuna has to say in response to whatever Yudhishthira Maharaj has asked. And along the way, we will hear many pastimes about Lord Krishna. And we will see how much deep attachment the Pandavas have for Lord Krishna. So it's very, very purifying to hear. So let's just do a quick recap what we covered previously. So we heard how Yudhishthira Maharaj begins to observe ill omens. In his kingdom, what he has done, he has asked his brother Arjuna to go to Dwaraka to visit Krishna, to find out what now, Krishna, what shall we do? What's our next adventure? What is Krishna doing? So they, as usual, devotees always want to hear about Krishna. So they wanted to know more about him. But 7 months have passed and no news about Arjuna or Krishna. And meanwhile, he begins to notice all kinds of terrible things in the kingdom. So Gora Rupani Nimittani, he sees the terrible, Gora means terrible, terrible reversal of time in different moments, various causes. And that is, one of it is reversals of time, like how the seasons no longer follow the exact sequence of seasons, summer, winter, like that. It's all mixed up. He sees disruptions. He sees the people in general have become several levels more sinful. This is Dwapara Yuga, but still he is able to see suddenly why everybody is so sinful. Because previously we heard how the kingdom of Yudhishthira Maharaj was so wonderful, how even the denizens of heaven, they were amazed at the opulence of Yudhishthira Maharaj's kingdom on earth. But suddenly, so many disruptions are happening. And seeing all this, Yudhishthira Maharaj became very disturbed in his heart. The king, he has his mind and thought became very disturbed because he already received a warning from Narada Muni. Narada Muni in the previous chapter, right? He told Yudhishthira Maharaj, prepare yourself because Lord Krishna may soon wind up his pastime. So you need to prepare yourself to follow him. So then, of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj, several months passed also after that. And when he began to see all this situation, he was in the corner of his mind, the concept of Lord Krishna no longer being present on earth, that very idea is something which Yudhishthira Maharaj could not even tolerate. He could not even think about such an idea. What is the point, right, of me living? What is the point of everything without Krishna? Just like Arjuna, right? Arjuna was willing to go into the battle without Krishna's invincible army, so long as Krishna himself is with him. So in the same way, Yudhishthira Maharaj is also thinking, what is the point of all this kingdom? So therefore, he says this beautiful verse, Yasman na sampado rajyam. What is the point of this rajyam, this kingdom? Daraha, all the wives, all the wonderful wives that we have. Pranaha, our very life. Kulam, our family and our dynasty. Praja, all my fellow citizens. So what is the point of all this? And what's the point of victory, Vijayo, right? All of this is coming only because of Krishna's anugraha, yat anugraha, his gift by the grace and mercy of Lord Krishna. So everything that we have, he is dedicating this only by the mercy of Lord Krishna. So seeing all this situation, we hear more about how Yudhishthira Maharaj becomes disturbed, right? He sees disturbance everywhere. And this can be categorized into 3: disturbances of the body and mind, disturbances of earthly disturbances, and celestial, heavenly influences. How everywhere on earth, this kind of disturbances, these 3 categories of disturbances is going on, right? So he says this verse, Manya etar mahutpather Nunam Bhagavata Phare Ananya Purusha Shri Bir Hina Bhur Hata Sambaga. So he says, so long the earth was so beautiful, everything was so wonderful. The land, the earth, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, the sky, everything was so fortunate. It was glorious. Even the denizens of heaven were amazed in wonder simply because the footprints of Lord Krishna was decorating the earth. So it says here, Bhagavata Pade, the footprints, Pade of the Lord, right? It's decorating the earth, and therefore earth became fortunate. Shri, fortune itself resided on the footprints of the Lord upon the earth. So this was the cause of it. So in this way, the Maharaj Yudhishthira was thinking, and as he was thinking, Arjuna returns suddenly after 7 months of this of being gone. He returns, and we heard in our previous session how Arjuna was so disturbed when Yudhishthira Maharaj saw Arjuna. He was in such a state that he has never seen Arjuna in this state before. His head was bowed. He was tears were falling from his eyes. He looked all as if all his opulence was gone. The teja, the shine, the effulgence of him is missing, and he looked completely defeated and miserable. So the king, immediately remembering the prediction of Narada, so we continue. The king, remembering the indications of the sage Narada, questioned Arjuna in the midst of friends, amongst all the Pandavas, other Pandavas, and also other well-wishers in the court of Hastinapur. So now we come to our next part, same chapter, but we are going to part 2 now. Let's see how much we can cover. Right, so in this part, Yudhishthira Maharaj now questions Arjuna from verses 25 all the way to the end of this chapter. He begins to, so it's a very emotional conversation. Yudhishthira Maharaj already, the mood that Yudhishthira Maharaj is in, his mind is disturbed, how he was worried so much. And when he sees Arjuna like this, he's so fearful, but he doesn't want to mention the actual cause right from the beginning. He's like hoping against hope. Maybe Arjuna is like this due to other reasons, or maybe maybe I'm just in my mind being fanciful. I'm thinking, so therefore he tries to be positive. So he begins by positively asking Arjuna. So verse 25, Yudhishthira Uvacha. My dear brother, she's talking to Arjuna, please tell me whether our friends and relatives such as Madhu, Bhoja, Dasharha, Arha, Satvata, Andaka, and the members of the Yadu family are all passing their days in happiness. So, when somebody goes to visit somewhere, when they return, the etiquette is generally to ask how the family members are doing, how everybody is situated, are they all happy? So that's common, isn't it? Normally we ask the same also when we go and visit other people and all that. So actually there's a lot of relation between the Pandavas and Krishna's family. So Krishna's family from the mother's side is the Bhoja family, from the father's side is the Vrishnis. So like that, the Vrishni and the Bhojas, they are the dynasty of Lord Krishna. And there are many of them who are interrelated together with the Kurus also. So for example, Draupadi married to Pandavas. So, Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani is related to Lord Krishna. Kunti Maharani is the auntie of Lord Krishna, the sister of his mother, Vasudeva's wife, Devaki. So like that, there are also other relations, many other relations. So they are mentioning few of the names, asking how they are, how the Yadus are passing their days in happiness. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj continues. So the Lord of the Yadu, the Lord of Dwaraka and the Lord of Yadu is none other than Lord Krishna. Although the king of the dynasty is Ugrasen, but even Ugrasen gives full respect to Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is seen as the supreme personality of Godhead himself. So therefore, he is celebrated as Dwaraka Dish. Dish means Lord, Dwaraka means Lord, Dwaraka Dish means the Lord of Dwaraka. So this is the picture of the deity, Dwaraka Dish. If we go to Dwaraka Puri, currently, Gujarat, if you go to Gujarat, in the city of Dwaraka, there's a beautiful temple there. And there you have this very, very beautiful form, very interesting form of Lord Krishna. He is known as Dwarakadish. So Yudhishthira Maharaj continues. Is my respectable Mata Maha. Mata Maha means maternal grandfather. That means grandfather from the mother's side. Is my respectable maternal grandfather Surasena of a Swasti? Swasti means, is he happy? Is everything good? Right? Sometimes we hear this word, right? Swasti, Swasti, Swasti. So when we invoke the Lord to come, we also say this mantra. So he's asking, are my grandparents all happy, all fortunate, all prosperous? And are my maternal uncle, Anaka Dundubi, this is another name of Vasudev. Vasudev is the father of Lord Krishna. So you can see here how Yudhishthira Maharaja's uncle is Vasudev, is revealed over here. And his younger brothers all doing well, right? So of course, Vasudev is husband of Devaki, right? And therefore Krishna is related in that way. Kunti Maharani is the auntie, so they are all linked. So his 7 wives. So Vasudev has 7 wives, headed by Devaki, are all sisters. Are they and their sons and daughters-in-law all happy? So this is again Yudhishthira Maharaj hoping against hope. He is asking the well-being of all the Yadus. Ugrasena is the king of the Yadu dynasty. And his son, Ugrasena's son, is Kamsa. So Ugrasena, whose son was the mischievous Kamsa, and his younger brother still living, Hridika, because Ugrasena was already very old, Hridika and his son Kritavarma happy. These are also members of the Yadu dynasty connected to, they are dear friends of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sarana, Satrujit, all happy. All again members of the Yadu dynasty. How is Ramo, Bhagavan, Satvatam Prabhu? So he is asking about Lord Balaram. So this is Baladev, who is none other than Balaram. Baladev in the ecstasy form of Balaram. So he's asking how Bhagavan Balaram, who is the protector of the Satvataha. Prabhu means master and protector. Satvata. Satvatam comes from the word Satvata. Satvata means those who are in the devotees of the Lord, especially particularly those in the mode of goodness, they are called Sattvatas. So how is the protector and master of the devotees of the Lord, Lord Balaram? So he's asking about Lord Balaram. So Prabhupada makes some comment. By his divine grace, Balaram is mentioned first before asking about Krishna directly. So this is the etiquette. Just like when we see the deity also, we don't straight away look at the face of the deity. That's not the etiquette. The etiquette is we must first look at the feet of the deity and then gradually bring our vision up towards the lotus-like face of the Lord. Of course, every part of the Lord is lotus-like. His feet is also lotus-like. His navel is also, we say the mantra, Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Netraya. His eyes are lotus. His navel is lotus-like. His feet is lotus-like. And he's garlanded with lotuses. So everything is wonderful about the Lord, but still that's the correct procedure in receiving a great personality. First, we glance at their feet first, and then we go gradually to look up. So in the same way, the Yadus were first inquired. Yudhishthira Maharaj first inquires about the Yadus, the pure devotees of the Lord, and the family members of the Lord. In Lord Shiva says in the Padma Purana that that amongst all kinds of worship, Sarvesham Aradhanam Sarvesham. So the highest form of worship is the worship of Lord Vishnu. But even greater than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his pure devotees. So, and Prabhupada also says, uh, if somebody comes to you and you have a dog and they say, I love you, I like you, but then they kick your dog. So then it's not the master is not going to be happy about this person, right? If somebody comes and, let's say you have a son or you have a daughter and they are very nice to you, but they are very bad to your son or to your daughter, right? So how are you going to have that kind of relationship? How are you going to reciprocate with that person? So in the same way, the Sattvatas, the devotees of the Lord, are like the lotus feet of the Lord. They are so Lord Krishna himself says, I am not in the heart of Vishnu. I am not in the heart of Lakshmi. I am not in Vaikuntha. I am in the hearts of all those pure devotees. So that is why the pure devotees carry the Lord's lotus feet wherever they go. And because they carry the Lord's lotus feet wherever they go, because the Lord himself is personally present in the hearts of the pure devotees, wherever the pure devotees go, that place becomes a place of pilgrimage, right? So that is our understanding. So by his divine grace, so after the devotees, we take the blessing of Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is represented as the Guru. So therefore, Prabhupada says, by his divine grace only, one can approach the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And thus Sri Balaram is the mercy incarnation of the Lord. So, and he particularly comes in the form of Guru. And through the Guru, one can achieve Krishna's mercy and blessings. So Prabhupada explains here, Lord Balaram is the immediate expansion of Vishnu Tattva as Prakasha Vigraha of Lord Krishna. So here he's mentioning the technical part of it. Remember, we mentioned this in the previous session also. There is Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva is basically expansions of Lord Krishna. And Lord Balaram is the very, very first expansion of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's first expansion is Balaram. And from Balaram comes every other expansion of the Lord, every other Vishnu Tattva. So this is a technical term, Prakasha Vigraha. I'll explain this again. We talked about this last session, but today I'll just go through one more time so we can remember it. But before that, first let's understand the different types of Tattva. So the different types of truths, Tattva. So Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan. He is the Supreme Lord. Param Satyam, the ultimate Tattva. That's the Supreme Lord. And he is like the original personality of Godhead. Adi. Govindam Adi Purusham. Adi means original. So then there is expansions of Krishna. When Krishna, actually, all of this is part of Krishna. Vishnu Tattva, Shiva Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, all is coming from Krishna only. But like there are different categories and permutations. The direct expansion of Krishna is called Vishnu Tattva. So all forms of Vishnu, all forms of the incarnations of Lord, they're all directly coming from Krishna. Then they are called Vishnu Tattva. And then, so Vishnu Tattva is like, one way to remember, one way to understand is like this, like a candle and a flame. So Krishna is the original largest candle, right? Now, if you take one candle and you light another candle and you light another candle, what you will see? The same fire will come, right? In every candle, you will get the same fire, the same flame, right? The same brightness, the same heat. So in this way, the Lord expands himself in different forms, and they all can have the same brightness, they have the same shine and the same heat. So in other words, the potency of the Lord is present in all of these different expansions of the Lord. But at the same time, there is different category of expansion also. Some forms of the Lord manifest full power. Some forms of the Lord don't manifest everything. They only manifest some things. So therefore, there are different categories. We will talk about these categories in the next slide. But this is Vishnu Tattva, the expansions of the Lord, direct expansions. And then there is Shiva Tattva. Now, Shiva Tattva is a transformation of Vishnu. How is the transformation of Vishnu undergone? So we can understand this by a very nice analogy given in the Brahma Samhita. Shiram yata dadi vikara visesha yashog Shiram yata dadi vikara visesha shogat sanjayate nahi tata pratakasti hetuhu yah shambhutam api tata samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Shiram is milk. Shiram, Kheer. So just like how Lord Vishnu is like milk, right? And Lord Shiva is like yogurt. So basically, they are coming from the same component. Where does yogurt come from? Yogurt comes from milk. Where does milk come from? Milk doesn't come from yogurt, right? From milk, you can create yogurt, but from yogurt, you cannot create milk. So from Vishnu, Shiva is a transformation of Vishnu. How is it a transformation of Vishnu? When Shiva associates with the material, when the Lord associates with the material energy, because the Lord actually doesn't associate, but for the purpose of creation, right? For the purpose of creation, there is material energy and there is also spiritual energy. So that's Shakti Tattva. So let me talk a little bit about Shakti Tattva, then we can talk about Shiva Tattva again. So Shakti Tattva is like the energy of the Lord. Now, the energy and the possessor of the energy cannot be separated. They are actually together. Just like when you say the sun and when you say the sunlight or the heat of the sun, you cannot separate heat and you cannot separate sunlight from the sun. Sunlight and heat is inherently part of the sun. But at the same time, it is different. You can say sunlight is coming from the sun. You can say the heat is also part of the sun, but you cannot say the sun is the heat because many things can give heat also. But the sun, in the sun, everything is there. The heat is there, the sunlight is there. So like that, the place where all the Shaktis rest on, that is Lord Krishna. That is Vishnu Tattva. But the energy itself is separated. It's called Shakti Tattva. Now, in Shakti Tattva, just like in this picture, you can see, there are two types of Shakti. There is the superior Shakti, which is spiritual. Actually, there is only one Shakti, or every Shakti is belonging to the Lord. So you could say everything is spiritual. But this Shakti casts a shadow. The Shakti of the Lord, the spiritual energy, the direct spiritual energy of the Lord, it casts a shadow. The shadow of the spiritual energy is what is called material energy. You can see here, the sun, when it's reflected in the water, right? This is the sun, but when the sun is reflected in water, you can see that there is some kind of, but you don't see the perfect shape of the sun. So this is called illusion or Maya. When you try to touch the water where the sun is reflected, you won't feel heat. There won't be heat in the reflection of the water. So it's illusion, right? So that is called Maya Shakti. Now, for the purpose of creation in the material world, the jivas, they come to the material world, right? And the Lord looks upon the material energy, right? When the Lord glances upon the material energy, that glance becomes Lord Shiva. Because the Lord glances at material energy, he embraces the material energy in the form of Lord Shiva. So, in other words, just like milk, when you add culture into milk, it becomes yogurt. So, Lord Vishnu, when associating with material nature, is known as Lord Shiva. Right? So, that is the understanding. I hope that is clear. So, and then we have one more, which is called Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva is all the other living entities. Now, Shakti Tattva is very big, right? Maya Shakti, the entire Maya Shakti is controlled by, it's actually embodied by Durga Devi, right? Who is the wife of Lord Shiva, the Shakti of Lord Shiva, you could say. And Lord Shiva is the Lord of the material world. He is the master and Lord. That's why he's called Maha Ishvara. And then there is Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva is all the living entities. So if Vishnu Tattva is fire, Jiva Tattva is like the sparks of that fire. Many small sparks. They all come from the fire. The quality is the same. Both also hot, both also emit light. But the fire, the original source, Lord Vishnu, is very large. He's called Vibhu. And the Jiva Tattva is very small. So therefore they are called Anu. So Vibhu, very big, and Anu, very small. So that's Jiva Tattva. Right? So these are the different tattvas. And the Jiva Tattva is also coming from the Lord. It's part and parcel. Jivera Amsa. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, they are my Amsa. So we are all part and parcel coming from the Lord. Part of his Shakti. So this is what we are. So we can see the different types of Shaktis and the tattvas, the different types of tattvas. Now let's go deeper into Vishnu Tattva. In Vishnu Tattva, we have the original form of Lord. The original form of the Lord, the Adi Purusham, is Lord Krishna. And he is technically called Swayam Rupa. Original. Swayam means original, Rupa, the original form of the Lord. Now, sometimes Krishna, he will expand himself for various pastimes. When he does Rasa Leela dance, he directly expands himself as his duplicate, exact duplicate, right? He looks just like Krishna. But what is this Krishna doing? This is Shama Sundar Krishna, cowherd boy Krishna. And what is this Krishna doing? Dancing with all the different gopis. The original Krishna is only with Radharani. And then the duplicate Krishnas, it's wrong to use the word duplicate, but just for an example, right? He expands himself in different forms of Krishna, Shamasundar Krishna. So when he does that, these duplicate forms of Krishna is called Swayam Prakash, Prabhava. So he appears just like himself, but he is not the original. Original is Swayam Rupa. He is also Swayam because he is Shamasundar Bhagavan Krishna, but he expands for a purpose. So therefore he is called Prakasha Prabhava. And there's another type of expansion. So then the other type of expansion, which is different from Krishna, is called Balaram. Different from Shamasundar Krishna, different from Swayam Rupa. The first expansion is Balaram. So therefore, Prabhupada describes there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram. They are exactly the same. The only difference is Krishna is blackish and Balaram is white. That is the only difference. There's actually a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam like that. So they are almost exactly the same, only thing, but Balaram comes from the Lord Krishna and he is coming as a Servita Bhagavan to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Balaram is Sandhini Shakti and he always serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Balaram, when Krishna comes almost like Krishna, but slightly different, like for example, the color is different. Krishna expands himself into Balaram. The color is different. Then it is called Swayam Prakash Vaibhava. So that's the difference between the two, Prabhava and Vaibhava. Swayam Prakash is the first expansions, original direct expansions with full power, full potency, full rasa, everything. When he comes exactly like Krishna, he is Prabhava. When there is a slight difference in color, for example, then when he comes as Balaram, it's called Vaibhava Prakash. Then there is also other types of expansions, like when Krishna goes to Mathura, he is no longer Shyamasundar Krishna. He is no longer holding the flute. He doesn't hold the flute in Mathura, right? Or when he goes to Dwaraka, he looks like a king, right? But he's still Krishna, blackish Krishna with a peacock feather, but his pastimes are different. His forms are different. So that kind of form, which is there in the spiritual world, but not the exact original Shyamasundar. So this kind of forms are called Tat Ekatma Rupa Vilash. That means coming from the original Rupa, but expanding with different flavors for the purpose of pastime. Vilasha. Vilasha is pastime. So this will include expansions like even Lord Ramachandra. Ramachandra also looks just like Krishna. Very beautiful, right? And just colors different. And he holds a bow rather than holding a flute. So just little difference, that's all. So that is another example. Then Balaram expands from Balaram for the purpose of other various creations within the spiritual world. He expands as the first Chatur Vyuha. So from Balaram, you can see he expands into the 4 types of Vishnu. Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna. These are the 4 types of Vishnu. The first set is very powerful, directly coming from Balaram himself. So therefore, we call it Tat Ekatma Rupa Swamsa. Now, earlier it's Vilasa. Vilasa means slight, it's for pastime. Purpose is for pastime. Almost similar to Lord Krishna, but slight difference. That is Tat Ekatma Rupa. So here also Tat Ekatma Rupa. Vishnu also looks just like Krishna, right? But he appears in a majestic form, not for the purpose of pastime, but for the purpose of creation. You can't say creation technically for spiritual world because spiritual world was never created, is eternal. But still they have their purpose. Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, they maintain the spiritual world. Because the Lord doesn't do all this. As Swayam Rupa, his business is just to enjoy. So his expansions are masterminding everything, right? So Balaram also, his purpose is to enjoy. Balaram also expands himself into these so that the spiritual world becomes manifest fully, right? So there's a difference between Swayam Prakash. This is no longer Swayam Prakash. These 4 Vishnus are now called Prabhava Vilasa. So here Vilasa basically means slightly less power or slightly less potency compared to Balaram. So Vilasa is a slightly less power and also it doesn't manifest so many different characteristics. So that is in this particular form. And from Sankarshan, this is called Adi Sankarshan, comes Narayana, still in the spiritual world. He lies down, Narayana lies down, right? And he glances across the material energy. So this Narayana is the one who glances across material energy. And from this Narayana, Lord Shiva manifests when he glances at material energy. So that Lord Shiva is also in the spiritual world. He is called Sadashiva. He is pure, not mixed with the 3 modes, right? But okay, let's leave that aside. Now from Narayana comes the next set of the 4 Vishnus. From Sankarshan, Adi Sankarshan, right? The next 4 Vishnus, again, Aniruddha, Vasudev, Mahasankarshan, Pradyumna, right? Now, this second set is different from the first set. The second set is called Vaibhava Vilasha. So, a bit less power compared to the first one in terms of potency, in terms of pastimes and everything. Now, this set is particularly there for the maintenance of the material world. They are still in the spiritual world, but their purpose is for material creation. So from Mahasankarshan, and we have Ananta Sesh, we have, and then from Vasudev, we have Karunadakashayi Vishnu and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and Shirodakashayi Vishnu. So they create the material world, right? From them comes the different universes, right? So that we know. So this is basically the different categories. And this category of the Purusha avatar is technically called Swamsa. So Swamsa basically means, again, even lower in potency, with less attributes, but still all of these are considered Vishnu Tattva. They are all much more powerful than any other aspect of Shiva Tattva or Shakti Tattva or Jiva Tattva. So this is all worshipable directly as the Supreme Lord. So, okay. So hopefully we can understand that a bit technically. So now let's go back to our discussion, the narration of what Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Krishna, who's very dejected. He continues, how is Pradyumna? So after talking about Balaram, he's also talking about the other, just now I introduced to you the Chatur Vyuha, the 4 types of Vishnus, right? The 2 sets. We have Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, and Pradyumna. So this Pradyumna, all of them, when Krishna comes as Swayam Bhagavan, when Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, Shamasundar Krishna, from Goloka Vrindavan, when he comes to earth, once in a day of Brahma, when he comes to earth, together with him, all the other expansions in the spiritual world, they also come. So that's why when Krishna came down, Balaram also came down, all his Radharani also came down, the gopis also came down, and all the Vishnus, the Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Vasudev, all of them also came down. So everybody came to take part. You may ask, in the spiritual world, it's unlimited, right? So how is it in the material world? They become, material world is limited. How could they all fit into the pastimes? So somehow by Achintya Shakti of the Lord, everything is possible. And also sometimes you get joint incarnations. So few of them mix and merge into one person, like that. So in that way, they all come. So Pradyumna is the son of Lord Krishna, is the son of Lord Krishna. He has many children. He has 10 children, 10 sons and 1 daughter. With each of the queens, he has 10 sons and 1 daughter. That means with Satyabhama, he has 10 sons and 1 daughter. With Rukmini, he has another 10 sons and 1 daughter. And with 16,108 wives, which each one of them, he has 10 sons and 1 daughter. Perfect. And that means he has about 160,000 sons. And each of those sons also have 10 sons and 1 daughter. So how many grandsons he has? How many grandsons Krishna has? 1.6 million. So these are all the Vrishnis, the Yadu Kula, very large. All the expansions of the Lord came in this way. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, how is Pradyumna and Sarva Vrishnam, all the Vrishnis? Sarva means all, Vrishnis means all the families of the Vrishnis. Sukam Aste Maharata, he's asking Arjuna, he's addressing Arjuna as Maharata. Maharata means a very powerful Kshatriya, the most powerful Kshatriya. So he's saying, oh Maharata, are all of these people Sukam? Are they happy? And is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of Bhagavan, faring well? So like that, I mentioned Pradyumna, the 4 Chatur Vyuha, the 4 Vishnus, right? Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudev, and Sankarshan. So all of them came down. So just now we mentioned Pradyumna, now we are mentioning Aniruddha. And the Bhagavatam mentions it, the plenary expansion of Bhagavan. So that means all these Vishnu forms come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not even directly, they come from Krishna comes Balaram, from Balaram comes the four Vishnus, and then from the four Vishnus comes the material set of the four Vishnus. But this is the spiritual set. They have all come here. How are they all faring? So like that, Krishna, he has many sons, and all these expansions of the Lord, these Vishnu's form, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, all they all came as the sons and grandsons of the Lord. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj continues, are all the chieftain, all the leaders, are all the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushena, Charudeshna, Samba. This is Samba. Samba is one of the favorite sons of the queens because he's very naughty. Now, usually when a son is very naughty in a nice way, so then the mother finds the son to be, become the favorite. This is the psychology. So usually they prefer of course, the very proper son is also very well loved. But sometimes a more mischievous son becomes a little bit more endearing to the family members. That is psychology. So Samba is such a person. She is Jambavati Sutaha. Samba is the loving son of Jambavati. Jambavati is one of the queens of Lord Krishna. It is said that uh, after Rukmini and Satyabhama, the next closest queen is Jambavati. She's very, very gentle, and she's anyway, let's not digress, otherwise we'll not finish. We will hear more about Jambavati in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So how is the son of Jambavati, Samba? How is Rishabha? And all the putras, all the other sons, are they all doing well? So then he continues asking, also, what about Sruta Deva? So don't worry about these names. There are many, these are some of the prominent names of the family of Lord Krishna. Some of them we'll know, most of them we will not know because they are, many. So also Sruta Deva, Uddhava. Uddhava is famous. We know Uddhava, right? And others, Nanda, Sunanda, and other leaders of liberated souls. Now, Uddhava is a very, very close friend of Lord Krishna. In fact, when Lord Krishna leaves the world, when he disappears, the last person he sees is Uddhava. And he talks to Uddhava and he gives an entire Gita. So, to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he gave Bhagavad Gita. But that's not the only Gita. Just before Krishna was about to leave the world, when Uddhava came, he spoke to Uddhava what is called the Uddhava Gita. So this is there in Canto 11 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. One day we will hopefully reach there. So in the Uddhava Gita, he talks about. So Uddhava is and Uddhava is the person who went to Vrindavan to pacify the gopis. After Lord Krishna left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura, Dwaraka and stayed there, right? So to pacify the gopis, because Uddhava, it is described, he looks just like Krishna. So by sending Uddhava, Krishna was pacifying the eyes of the gopis, and in this way, the gopis still held their life. So how are these people? How are the constant companions of the Lord and Rama Krishna Bhujasrayaha? So these constant companions, these personalities are always under the protection of Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. So Bhuja Ashraya. Why? Because they have taken complete shelter of Krishna and Balaram, and therefore Krishna gives them complete shelter also. So this word Ashraya is very significant. It can work both ways. You take Ashraya of somebody, you take the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, and Krishna also gives his shelter, lotus feet shelter, to all of these people. So they are always protected. So this Krishna and Balaram, right? Are they all, so Yudhishthira Maharaj continues, are they all doing well in their respective functions? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare? So naturally, well-wishers Yudhishthira is anxious to know whether they are still thinking of us. So, because the greatest fortune of a devotee is when a pure devotee remembers us or thinks about us in a favorable way. So, like, for example, if our Guru Maharaj remembers us in some small way, or if another pure devotee or another great personality, in some way we serve that person, somehow that person thinks of us in some way. So that is our great fortune. So therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj is anxious to get the blessings of the very close devotees of Lord Krishna. Do they all eternally bound in friendship with us remember our welfare? So Prabhupada gives comment. The constant companions of Lord Krishna, such as Uddhava, are all liberated souls. And they descended along with Lord Krishna to this material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. The Pandavas are also liberated souls. So these are all direct associates of the Lord. Now, some of them are Vishnu Tattva. I mentioned to you that some of them are the expansions of the Lord. Many of them are expansions of the Lord. But together also many of them are the Jivas, the Jiva Tattva coming from the spiritual world. They came from the spiritual world together with the Lord. So like Uddhava, for example, is not Vishnu Tattva. He is a Jiva, right? So he is, whereas the sons of Lord Krishna, like Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Samba, they are all Vishnu Tattvas, direct incarnations of expansions of the Lord. So Pandavas are also liberated souls. So if they are liberated, then why are they going through all the miserable situation they had to go through in the Mahabharata? So the answer to that is, whatever situation they were going through is not miserable. It is simply ecstasy. It is all Leela, part of the pastimes of the Lord. And they were all playing their roles in the drama enacted by the Lord. And to make sure that they play their roles very nicely, they are made to forget about their actual position by the yoga maya potency, the spiritual maya energy of the Lord, just so that Krishna can enjoy wonderful pleasure pastimes of this kind of leelas. And together with Krishna's pastimes, the jivas who are also in these pastimes, they are also in ecstasy. There are different types of ecstasy. There is ecstasy doesn't just mean laughing. Even crying is ecstasy. So there are different situations where the Pandavas, the Kunti Maharani was crying, Draupadi was crying, but it's all ecstasy. So very deep subject matter. So yeah. So Yudhishthira Maharaj continues. Is Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhakta Vatsalaha? So here he addresses Lord Krishna. Finally, he comes to Lord Krishna. After talking about Balaram, after talking about all the sons, the children, the family, now he's coming finally to Lord Krishna himself. Is Bhagavan? Who is Bhagavan? Govindo Brahmanyo Bhakta Vatsalaha. Of all the names of Lord Krishna, see what name Yudhishthira Maharaj uses. What is the name he uses to address Krishna? He could have called Krishna the Lord of the universe, Jagatpate. He could have called Krishna, Achyuta, infallible. He could have called Krishna the most powerful. But what he calls Krishna? He calls him Govinda, the master of our senses, because Govinda fully controls the senses of the devotees. The devotee senses are all directed for the pleasure of Govinda. And Govinda also means Lord of the cows, one who gives pleasure to the cows. And Brahmanyo, and he is also one who gives pleasure and protection to the Brahmanas. And he is above all of these, he is Bhakta Vatsala. Always, he is directly partial to the devotees, to the pure devotees, right? He's always in the side of the devotees. So is this Bhagavan, Govinda, Brahmanyo, Bhakta Vatsala, Is he enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarakapuri, surrounded by friends? The devotees are always anxious to know whether the Lord is enjoying himself fully. So they want to make sure that everything is there for the Lord's satisfaction. So here, surrounded by all the associates in Dwarakapuri, Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to know what is he doing. So this is Dwarakapuri. All the cows, the brahmanas, the devotees, the associates, thousands and thousands, even millions of them, all of them in Dwarakapuri. So, it's like an ocean. In the ocean, Lord Krishna is sitting there. Later with Prabhupada will give that example. So without cow protection, so here since the word Govinda is used, Prabhupada speaks a little bit about cow protection and protection of Brahmana. So these two are very, very important in Vedic civilization because human civilization depends upon the cows and upon the Brahmanas. Without cows, without Brahmanas, human civilization is going to hell and it is rotten. So therefore, this is the two key parameters. If we can ensure the cultivation and the protection and the happiness of these two, the cows and the Brahmanas, then everything, human prosperity is assured. Not only in this world, in the next life also, prosperity is assured. This is the secret of civilization. You want to have good health, you want to have good livelihood, you want to have peaceful living in this world, cow protection is important, right? So one has to make sure that cows are not killed. Cow protection doesn't mean simply that we go and buy some land or we get some cows and put the cows inside there and then that's cow protection. Cow protection actually means that we ensure that we make sure that cows are not killed, right? So we need to go and take the cows from other places. And, usually when the cows are milked, when they grow old, they are killed, right? So we want to ensure that they are not killed. So we need to save them from the streets, save them from slaughterhouses. The bulls, when a cow gives birth to a calf and it's a bull, within a few days, because bulls are considered useless in this Kali Yuga, because of the advent of petrol, the moment petrol came into our lives, the bulls were killed because tractor, right? Tractor came, petrol came, so no need for bulls anymore. So from birth, the bulls are sent into slaughterhouses to be killed. So if we can save these bulls from the slaughterhouses and keep them and grow them, then that is real cow protection, right? So, and that's Prabhupada's words. This is how Prabhupada describes it. And no human civilization can prosper without this. So cow protection is important. Cow is needed to sustain the Brahmanas. Without cows, there cannot be proper Brahmanas. Without Brahmanas, there cannot be proper cows, right? So these two are together. And Prabhupada continues, by Brahminical culture, the development of dormant qualities of goodness, one can become a Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. So he defines what is Brahmana here. So we will talk about that. But before that, when we speak about cow, why cow protection is also important? Because it keeps our health well. Cow's milk is essential for one's brain development right from young. Actually, cow's milk is needed for all ages, young, middle age, old age, osteoporosis, calcium and all that. But more important than all this is the brain development, the finer tissues. The cow's milk, sattvic nature, it develops the finer tissues in the brain, which makes it easier for us to understand spiritual knowledge. That is the secret. So if we want to very easily understand Vedic knowledge, scripture, and all that, we should also drink cow's milk, all right, as prasadam. It's very powerful, especially for young people. So, and that is and of course cow dung. Cow dung ensures there is proper good bacterial growth in our guts. Those days people used to go around handling cow dung. They touch it with the hand. They use everywhere. It's used for the floor. It's used on the walls. It's used for cooking the fire, right? So everywhere there's cow dung. So there's a lot of good bacteria. Everywhere there's a lot of good bacteria, and this good bacteria kills all the bad bacteria. So because of that, immunity is very, very high, and people hardly ever got sick. So these are all the secrets, right? And because of cow, the land is also very fertile, because cow dung naturally fertilizes the land, and everything grows very wonderfully, right? No need for artificial fertilizer and all these things. And the bull is there to to plow the land, to carry to carry loads, to bring to for transportation of carts and everything. So the bull and the cow both had its utility, and people lived in peace, and there were no wars because there was no killing of cows. And the brahmanas prospered because from cow's milk you can get yogurt, from yogurt you get butter, from butter you get ghee, and ghee is needed for fire sacrifice, right? And by this cooperation between cows, brahmanas, and humanity, everything was abundant, was successful. So Brahminical culture, one of the objectives of ISKCON, when Prabhupada formed ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, there were 7 mission statements. So one of the mission statement, Prabhupada states there, is to create a Brahminical society in the world, so that, based on Srimad Bhagavatam, so that they can reverse the direction of society going towards hell. Because currently society is going towards hell, because there's no brahmanas to lead society in the right direction, right? There's no head. So society currently is like a body without a head, blindly just walking about. So the head is like the brahmana. So what is Brahminical quality? So here he says the development of dormant qualities of goodness. One can become a Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. So first one has to develop Brahminical qualities before one can be able to see the Lord as he is. There's a nice verse here, Bhagavad Gita 18:42, which describes the Brahminical qualities. What are the Brahminical qualities that we should cultivate in our, as we continue and as we progress in our spiritual life? Initially, we may have all kinds of other qualities, but one of the signs of advancement as we are chanting and we are hearing and as we are serving, right, is gradually, we develop these better qualities. So what are these qualities? First is samo damas tapa saucham shantir arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. So first is sama, peaceful. They are not disturbed by situations. Generally peaceful in nature. Many examples are there, right? For example, what do you call that person? Sudama Brahmana. Here we have this picture. What we are seeing here, Lord Krishna is directly washing the feet of a Brahmana. So that is the kind of respect he wants us to have for those who are true Brahmanas. So Sudama is his friend, childhood friend from the Gurukul. And he's very, very poor. So poor that they don't even have enough food to eat, right? And but still he was peaceful in his mind. He was never disturbed. He was peaceful to continue his Brahminical duties. He was not disturbed. So that is, of course, very, very high example of Brahminical nature of peacefulness. Other examples, Vasishta, when Vishwamitra was disturbing Vasishta so much, when he was a king that time, Vasishta was still tolerant. He was peaceful. He wasn't disturbed. So together with that comes Dhamma, self-control. Dhamma is self-control. Even if one is angry, one is able to control oneself, right? Tapa, austerity. So all these comes, peacefulness is the end result. Before peacefulness, you must first have self-control. Without self-control, there cannot be peacefulness. And without austerity, there cannot be self-control. And without cleanliness, there cannot be austerity. So like this, right? And then there is shantir, tolerance. And then there is arjavam, simplicity or honesty, right? And then there is jnanam, knowledge. And vijnanam, realized knowledge or wisdom of the ages or wisdom of the scriptures, right? And there is astikyam, religiousness, right? So here is the opposite. With first we develop jnanam, then we develop wisdom of the jnana, and the result of that is religiosity, astikyam, right? Then there is brahma, karma, swabhava, jam. So this is all born of the nature of a brahmana. These are the qualities of a brahmana. So we should try to memorize and remember this chapter in Bhagavad Gita, so we can meditate upon it, on how to. So we cannot artificially develop it, but remember the sequence. The sequence is, first we learn how to, what's the sequence? This one. So first we practice cleanliness, right? Aren't we practicing, how we practice cleanliness? By abstaining from illicit sexual activity that destroys cleanliness. But at the same time, there is cleanliness of the body, cleanliness of the mind, right? Cleanliness in the words that we speak, right? All has to be clean. So then we can develop also tapa, austerity, ekadasi fasting, right? Festival days fasting, chanting the 16 rounds, which is also tapa. Then together with that, what does Rupa Goswami say to us? Vacho vegam, manasa, jiva vegam, manasa, Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara prashta vegam. So control of the tongue, jiva, urge to speak, uh, urge, urge to taste tasty, wonderful food, right? Control the tongue, control the urges of the anger, urges of the mind, urges of the belly, urges of the genitals. So Dhamma. Once we do that, then we get sama, peacefulness, right? So like that, there is a step by step. So this is all nicely mentioned in the later parts of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is also nicely organized in the Nectar of Devotion. So, and after surpassing the Brahminical perfection, so when one comes to the mode of goodness, then one can transcend into Suddha Sattva. One can become liberated stage. In the Brahma Muta platform, in the liberated stage, one can then directly associate with the Lord. So in our stage, when we are still in the three modes of nature, when we are still not liberated, we cannot directly associate with the Lord. We cannot see the Lord person to person, eye to eye. Until we purify ourselves from these impurities, then when we cultivate devotional service, we can directly see the Lord face to face. So the stage of a devotee which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahmana. So this is what Prabhupada says. So unless we can develop these qualities of a Brahmana, we cannot transcend the three modes of nature and move on to direct vision contact with the Lord. So that's what our process is doing. That's the purpose of our devotional service. All our hearing, our chanting, our remembering, our archanam, our pujam, our prayers, our seva, all of these things is so that we can purify ourselves and at the same time develop our Krishna consciousness and attraction towards the Lord, and purify at stage by stage, step by step, so that if done correctly with the guidance of Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, by hearing attentively, then if done correctly, then this will be the result. We will see year by year our life changing. We will see how these qualities are more and more becoming imbibed in our life. right? So that is the test. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. So here it's important to understand what is a correct Brahmana and what is not a Brahmana. So the Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality. Quality of what? Just now all the verse, the things we mentioned, that is what the Lord is inclined for. Not one who is false prestige, one who claims, I'm a Brahmana. Come on, show me respect. How dare you do like this? Don't you know that I'm a Brahmana? You have offended me, a Brahmana. So people talk like that. So that is false prestige. That is not a Brahmana, right? A Brahmana, remember, he is always peaceful, he is always tolerant. So Prabhupada continues, those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relation with the Lord. Just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood. So one has to develop the qualities of a Brahmana. Brahmana is not born. Brahmana is quality, right? What are the qualities we develop? So if we call ourselves a devotee, that means we already have the qualities of a Brahmana. Is that really true? Right? So therefore, we say we are not yet a devotee. We are practicing to be a devotee. We are trying to be a devotee. That's the actual understanding. Because if we say we are devotee of the Lord, that means we are already a Brahmana. Brahmana is a subset of a devotee. So do we really have all the qualifications already? So just like the six Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they never claimed that they are Brahmanas. They never claimed that they could see Krishna. They always say, I am hopeless, I am fallen. What does Bhaktivinoda Thakur sing in his songs, right? Never you will see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I am a Brahmana, I am trying to chant. No, he will always say, I'm the most wicked, I'm the most fallen. I have uselessly, durlabha manava, I have spent my life uselessly in the service of wicked and miserly men. He sings in the song Bhajahure Mana, right? There he says like that. So this should be our mood. And in this way, we can develop the right qualities of a Brahman. So then the Lord continues, the Yudhishthira Maharaj continues. The original personality of Godhead, specifically the word is used, Adya. Adyaha means original. The original, that means Swayam Rupa Bhagavan Krishna, right? The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer, Puman. Puman means enjoyer. And Balaram, here is mentioned as Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadukula. So Krishna and Balaram, they are like two people staying on the ocean of the Yadu. Yadukula means the dynasty, the family of the Yadu. Because the Yadus are so numerous, millions of them. So amongst millions of people, it's like an ocean. Why is the Lord and Balaram, why are the two Bhagavans, why are they staying here? While they are staying, what are they doing? Right? They are staying increases all these qualities. The Mangalya means the auspiciousness and the welfare. The Shemaya, the protection. Bhavaya, elevation of the entire universe. Just by the presence of the Lord in this world, the entire universe is benefited. Everything becomes auspicious. Everything is protected. Everything is elevated. Everyone goes back to the spiritual world together with the Lord. So it's a very, very wonderful, just by the presence of the Lord. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life, Parama Anandam, like the Mahapaurusikaha. Mahapaurusikaha means those who come from the spiritual world. These are the eternally liberated people, right? So they are enjoying the protection of the Lord, complete protection of the Lord, and they are enjoying life, Parama Anandam. Param, the ultimate Anandam, bliss, enjoyment is theirs because they have taken ashraya, shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, just like just now we said, the Yadu dynasty is like an ocean, and in that ocean, Balaram has come like Ananta Sesh, and Lord Krishna is lying down like Lord Vishnu in the ocean of milk. So this is a nice analogy. The ocean of milk is like, the Shira, the ocean of milk. In the ocean of milk, which is like the ocean of the Vrishnis, in there Balaram is there like the Ananta Sesh, and on Balaram lying is Lord Krishna. So nice description, poetically said. Thus, Maharaj Yudhishthira has compared the Yadu dynasty to the ocean of milk and Sri Balaram to the Ananta, where Lord Krishna resides. So this is described by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Simply by administrating comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is Mukhya Karmana, the most important of all services, the queens at Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. So they are, the Vrishnis, they are enjoying the full protection of the Lord. And the Lord is completely won over by them. They say the Lord becomes purchased by the devotees. Bhakti is very rare. Very rarely Lord gives bhakti to people, because by bhakti, one can control the Lord. One can purchase the Lord. So there is one song where, we sing the Chaurashtakam sometimes during the Purushottama month. So in the Chaurashtakam sung by Vilva Mangal Thakur, the name of the person, the devotee, Vilva Mangal Thakur, he wrote that song. So there he sings, I have captured you, Krishna, in the cage of my heart. You cannot escape, you thief. You have stolen everything, but I have caught the thief. Chaurashtaka means the song of the thief, glorifying the thief. It's a very interesting song where Vilva Mangal Thakur calls Krishna a thief. In different ways, how he is a thief. But he says, though you are a thief, you are the greatest of thieves. I have created a cage for you in my heart where I have caught you and I have kept you inside the cage and I will never let you go. So like that. So that cage is bhakti. That cage which can even capture the Supreme Lord by his own sweet will. By the Lord's own sweet will, he allows himself to be captured and controlled by the pure devotees of the Lord. So the queens of Dwaraka, they are always with him, right? And they induce the Lord to do many things, even sometimes to go and conquer the demigods, because they want something, right? So there's many stories where Lord Krishna, together with the Vrishnis, they have gone to Indra Loka and they have done many things. Before, in the one story is where Lord the Vrishnis, they actually went to Indraloka, and in Indraloka, there's a very, very beautiful assembly house. It's like a big auditorium, assembly auditorium. It was specially created for them by Vishwakarma, the architect of the universe, of the demigods. And that assembly is extremely wonderful. Words cannot describe, I also cannot describe, but some of the things it says that while you are in that assembly, when you are in that assembly, you will not feel pangs, you will not feel thirst, you will not feel hunger, unless you want to. You won't feel disturbances, you won't feel, everything is perfect, like that. So what these Vrishnis did, because Lord Krishna is coming to Dwaraka, these Vrishnis decided we need an assembly place which is fit for such a person. So, and they wanted to also show their warrior powers, Kshatriya powers. So they didn't want to ask. Kshatriyas don't ask, right? They just go and grab. So they went to Indraloka and they went and somehow they grabbed that entire assembly place and they brought it to earth in Dwaraka and put it. There was a fight. Indra and the Vrishnis, they were fighting, but Indra was completely defeated. And this assembly was forcibly taken and put on earth. So that's one incident. Another incident is the Parijata story. So we don't have time to discuss all that now. It's already 9:20. So probably we'll stop here today, and then we will discuss these other pastimes linked to this linked to the queens of Dwaraka and linked to the Vrishnis, on how Lord Krishna did so many things for them. So we will discuss this in the next session, and we will finish the chapter 14 in the next session also. After Yudhishthira Maharaj will continue speaking, and after he continues speaking, he will finish in chapter 14, and then Arjuna will begin speaking in chapter 15. He will answer what is the reason that he'll actually tell Yudhishthira Maharaj that Lord Krishna has left the world. Right. So let's stop here. Let's chant Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Right. So any questions, anything anyone wants to clarify?
Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I just have one question. You're saying about the milk, the importance of drinking milk for our spiritual life. But the milk nowadays, the source of the milk, the cows are tortured and everything. So I personally, I feel very disturbed of taking milk and ghee. The source is like not a non-ahimsa, I mean himsa, the milk. So I have asked this to my temple president, but his clarification was that even though they suffered, but the milk is offered to Krishna. So the cow which suffered gets the benefit. So is it how's the understanding? Is that is the understanding, is it?
Correct. Right. So so this thing, vegan and vegetarianism. So I posted something like that in the group, in the Srimad Bhagavatam group. So you can read a full discussion over there. His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami talks about the importance of milk. So anyway, first point is, yes, nowadays in Kali Yuga, this is happening because of mass factoring. Everything is mass. So therefore, it has to, they put machines into these cows, and then they forcibly suck the milk, and then sometimes blood also comes. So these things sometimes happen, right? But and a lot of cruelty is being done to the cows. That mostly this is being done in the Western countries. In Malaysia, it's not so bad. Still, sometimes they use machines to take, right? But it's there. So what is the understanding? The understanding is, yes, this is happening, but we have no choice in the matter. So as far as possible, we go for, happy cows, grass-fed cows, ahimsa milk, organic milk, or whatever it is, as far as we can. But if there is no option, still this milk is needed. So Prabhupada is clear about this. People ask this question to Prabhupada himself. And even during Prabhupada's times in the 1960s and the 1970s in US, in all the cities and all that, these things were happening. So they asked Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, yes, it's happening like that, but we have no choice, because milk is really important for the development of the finer tissues of the brain. So it helps to promote our understanding of spiritual life. And so we make the best out of a bad bargain. And especially, as you are saying, Mataji, whatever we take, we offer to the Lord. So the perfection of a living entity is that living entity has used its life, or it has contributed his life for the service of the Lord. So just like plants, when people ask us, you say you're vegetarian and you say you don't kill, but what about the plants which you kill? So you're killing the plants, and therefore our answer to that is, yes, we have no choice. Because in the material world, we have to eat something. The nature of the material world is such that one lives upon another, right? That is the nature, is mentioned in the scripture. Life is sustained based on another's life. But in the human food, so every creature has its own food. A tiger has its food, but human being has vegetarian food. And when we offer the vegetables to the Lord, whatever karma we get from the killing of that vegetable, killing of that plant, right? That karma is taken away. So number one, the karma is removed. Number two, that food which we offer to the Lord is purified. And number three, it gives us spiritual power by eating that food. So, and Krishna loves cows and cow's milk. So it is something which is offered in every temple. Every deity of the Lord is one of the, his milk is in the mode of goodness. So it's very, very important. So even so, we have this situation. Prabhupada's advice is make the best out of a bad bargain. We have no choice. So therefore, we take this milk and we offer it to the Lord. And by offering it, we become purified, we become benefited. At the same time, we please the Lord. And because this milk has been used to please the Lord, the animal which gave the milk, the suffering that the animal went through, that animal also becomes purified. It becomes benefited. It's like a sacrifice. You know, those days, they used to have animal sacrifice. The animal is sacrificed and the animal gets elevated in its life and immediately becomes a human. So in this way, you can see it as a form of sacrifice. So it's all based for the sacrifice of the Lord. It's for the Lord's pleasure. So yeah, that's the understanding, Mataji. So you're correct, right?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Haribol.
Today is my first day.
Oh, okay. Are you in the group, the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam group?
Not yet, not yet. Today only,
Okay,
Mataji sent the link today. Yeah.
All right. So I'll add you, and then I can share that today only. It's today only I posted that he's holding that thing on the vegans and the milk thing, so I
Oh,
can
I see.
repost it to you also.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
All right.
Please add me in the group. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? So Mataji, I don't have your number, so maybe you can message me, and then I will add you. All right.
Sure,
So
Prabhu.
okay, Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anyone else has anything to ask or say or clarify? No. Okay, so no worries. If you have any questions that come across, you suddenly think of something later on in the week, feel free to put it in the WhatsApp and we'll be happy to go through it, right? So till then, happy reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us hear more and let us be fixed in our chanting and be fixed in our service to the Lord, Guru and Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.